Welcome to the Reticle Up Podcast, where I, 3-Gun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. The Reticle Up Podcast is produced in partnership with AmericanFirearms.org. American Firearms' mission is to recommend what works. We believe everyone deserves access to unbiased, helpful information about firearms, and our buying guides, product reviews, and learning resources are designed to help real people find the stuff that will work best for them. Check us out at www.americanfirearms.org. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reticle Up Podcast. This week I have Justin Taylor on. You probably know him from JT Tactical Online. He's a firearms instructor. What's really cool is a motion picture armorer, which we'll talk about, and super competitive shooter, even though, guys, he's left-handed.
Oh, man.
I know. I'd start it there.
Put me on blast right off the bat. Oh.
He sends me content, and I was like, no, you reverse the video. It's on the wrong side.
How dare you?
Right. Justin, man, thank you for being flexible and then finally coming on the podcast.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. This is great.
Absolutely. Let's start with JT Tactical, actually, because I think a lot of people, you and I struggle with this, don't go get educated about firearms and don't take a class. So kind of tell me where that kind of company came out of and what you teach.
Well, I've been teaching for a long time. I train actors on set. I work with stunt people on set. And really the whole teaching thing kind of came from, unfortunately, after this whole Rust thing, I was invited to speak about gun safety in front of a bunch of actors. And after that, I just started getting messages like, hey, do you give lessons? Do you do instruction? And I was like, oh, maybe there's something to this. People, they always talk about when I'm training them, they're like, God, you should do this as a profession, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, whatever. There's no money in it, So it just kind of turned into this over the last, I've only been, the company's only has existed for about 6 months.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
7 months. Yeah.
January of 2023.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's been going well. It's a little tough. Unfortunately, a lot of my clients are crew members and stunt people.
Cool.
And since we're all out of work, nobody's really spending money to train. But we're still getting out there. I'm doing at least one class a month for groups, and I'm going to be doing some private lessons as well.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
So can you kind of drop I would literally probably say the veil, I guess, a little bit behind Hollywood of, there's a lot of people that are actors, actresses that are anti-gun when it comes to media and publicity, right? And we know, of course, in our small community, they do own guns. They do have them at home, they, all of that. And so I don't know if that's something you want to speak on too. I'm not a registered party person, super political, right? But that stuff does matter.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what side you are. And I think just learning the tool, right, is valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a lot of experience with actors who are anti-gun, and it can be an awkward situation because they automatically, when I come up and I'm like, hey, I'm Justin, I'm your armor, I immediately get pegged as a certain type. And so it is difficult at times to kind of overcome that stereotype. But I also have dealt with a lot of actors who are closeted gun people, but they don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
They don't want to talk about it. I bring them out to the range. They're like, hey, maybe don't post this. Don't, and it just the videos that we've taken just have to disappear, because for whatever reason.
That's so frustrating to hear, right? You would want them to just stand up for our rights and all of that. And I get it. They could lose their job, their career, their community. It's just, why are firearms so polarizing?
I mean, to me, I think firearms are polarizing politically, just because it's this left versus right thing. It's got it. There's so many different layers to that. I think in the film industry, everyone is the majority of people in the film industry are very left leaning, they're very liberal, which automatically means it's like if you're going to be part of this group, you've got to hate guns, you've got to be pro this, you got to be anti this, and it's like this is what you have to believe in order to be part of our little squad.
But they make money off of holding firearms and shooting them in movies.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I know. It's a weird hypocrisy that we have to deal with. I've definitely dealt with a lot of actors that are like, I don't want to touch the gun, I don't want to deal with it, and I'm like, but listen, I need to show you how this works. Like this is not a toy. This could potentially be a dangerous thing.
Right.
I need to show you how this works, and they're literally like on set going, I'm not going to touch it until we start rolling. I'm just like, the fuck do I do with this?
Yeah.
Sorry, can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I curse like a sailor, so.
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
This is my show. That's what I do now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
I just think that like if they're making money off firearms and they are portraying firearms, I mean, we see Hollywood miss a lot. I'm sure that frustrates you, as that's like your career, right? And any movie that has poor gun handling or they never reload,
drives me fucking crazy.
It takes you out of the movie. It takes you out of the show. It takes you to not even want to be part of that. And so do you ever convert any of these people to be posting about guns? Like, have you ever in your career, like, changed someone to be a little bit more pro-gun or a little bit more open about owning or shooting them?
I've definitely, I don't want to say that I've converted people, because I think that's tough. Yeah, but no, I've definitely, I would like to think that I've changed some minds.
That's good.
I am very open with my beliefs on the whole Second Amendment thing, and I talk to people about it constantly, and I'm not afraid to correct people when they're spouting false information.
Yeah.
I have kind of a big mouth that gets me in trouble sometimes.
I mean, you are in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So what does a proper motion picture armor do? Like, again, I have no clue what your job looks like. What's a day in the life? Like, what is your responsibilities?
I mean, it varies. It varies a lot. Sometimes it's as simple as, one actor holding a handgun, maybe not even firing. Other days it's, dudes having a shootout with M4s. It's always different. The biggest thing for me when I'm on set is safety. That is top of my list. I always want to make sure that my actors are comfortable with me personally. I want to make sure that they are comfortable handling the weapons. I will typically, I will always do training ahead of time before we start filming. I prefer to have time during prep before we start filming to actually take them out to the range.
Yeah,
get them used to it. I bring them over to Taryn's place, and just let them feel comfortable, because firing blanks is different than firing live ammunition.
Yeah,
it's just a different feel, but I think it's a useful tool to teach actors what the feeling is of firing real ammunition at targets and seeing what these bullets do. And it gives them an understanding, and it helps them with their performance, honestly.
Yeah. How did you get this job, by the way? How did you get here?
God, so I've actually been in the film industry for 20 years.
No way, dude.
20 years, yeah.
Were you one of those people that got in underage and just lied about your age?
No.
No, blinking, yeah.
No. I was 18 when I got in.
Okay.
So yes, if you do the math, I'm 38. I started as a production assistant. I got fired within 2 years on a show. I was doing a lot of reality TV shows, and the last one I did was for the Style Network. It's either Style or E Network. I don't remember now. But I got fired for mouthing off to one of the producers. Shocking, I know. I just told her I just kind of told her what was up, and she didn't like that. And all of a sudden, I was getting pulled into the production manager's office, and they not only took my security badge but had me escorted out.
Oh wow!
I was just like, well, I just told her. I just basically was like, yeah, I'll get to your stuff as soon as I'm done with this whole stack of shit, unless yours is a priority. And she just got all huffy and stormed off. And then next thing I know, I was in somebody's office getting thrown out.
Oh man, it's brutal.
So yeah. So after that, I got my EMT credentials. Got a little volunteer experience as an EMT behind me. Did some. Mostly volunteer stuff. I wasn't too experienced,
sure.
But then I got in as a set medic, and I did that for close to 10 years.
Wow.
And I absolutely hated it. It was boring, and I was miserable. And about the same time I started doing the EMT stuff, I started working with my dad, who's a private investigator and licensed private investigator. And as soon as I turned 21, he was like, hey, let's go do some bounty hunting together. And so I broke up the monotony of being a set medic with going to work with my dad as doing fugitive recovery. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I did that for about 10 years. And I got some stories. It was a lot of fun.
This is all in California, though, like born and raised California.
This is in California. Yeah, I'm born and raised California, the People's Republic of California. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, okay, I want to come back to all this in a second, but I still want.
Okay.
You're still doing the fugitive recovery, yeah, and then set medic. But like, how did you get to firearms training and becoming an armorer there?
Okay, so
and TTI, like, how'd you meet Taryn? Like, I have so many questions.
Oh my God. Okay, so just clarify. I don't work for TTI.
Right.
I'm friends with all those guys. I think I'm pretty tight with those guys. I don't know. You ask them, but no, I've actually I met Taryn 16 years ago. I was working at a gun store part-time.
But there's another job. Oh, great.
There's another job. Oh my God. I have I've lived 5 different lifetimes, in my very short time here. But yeah, I was working at a gun store out in Simi Valley, and he popped in, and I knew who he was.
Yeah.
And so I kind of fanboyed on him, and I was just like, oh my God, this is Taryn Butler. It's like, world champion shooter. And at that point, the gun store I was working at, they had just kind of introduced me into competitive shooting. And so, like, obviously I was watching all of Taryn's videos on YouTube, and I was like, just fascinated by this whole world, this whole competitive shooting thing. I was 21, working at the gun store, doing the set medic thing, doing the fugitive recovery work all at the same time. My first match shooting competitively, I was using an HK USP Compact.
I had one of those.
40.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it was the only gun I had. I was 21. It was the first pistol I had. So I was like, oh, I love 24, so I'm going to get the Jack Bauer gun. Oh God. So yeah, that was like my first intro. It was shooting an action pistol match out in Piru. The guys at the gun store dragged me to.
Awesome.
So then I just kept shooting and competing and learning. I trained with a lot of different law enforcement officers, trained with some military guys. And then as I started realizing the set medic thing wasn't for me, I was looking around the industry going, what else do I want to do? And I realized I always navigated towards the prop guys who also handle the weapons, and realized, oh, this might be a niche for me. This might be something I could do. So I transitioned out of being a set medic and into doing props. I joined Local 44. And then in California, to be an armorer, you have to have a lot of a lot of extra permits
Okay.
aside from just, knowing your firearms and knowing how to teach people and how to use them and all the different aspects of the job. California, you have to have your entertainment firearms permit, which is the easy one to get. You have to be on an FFL, and you have to have what's called the dangerous weapons permit. So outside of California, you can have your assault weapons, but I have to have a special permit to have those. So my dangerous weapons permit covers assault weapons, machine guns, SBRs, suppressors.
So dangerous.
50 cal BMG, because that's another. In California, they actually banned 50 BMG because it was too concealable.
Huh?
Yeah. Huh. I think that's right. If someone wants to correct me on that,
the bullet's
I'm more than happy.
I
know the bullet is the size of my hand.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
okay, cool.
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's idiots making gun laws.
Please move away. That's something.
Yeah, yeah. If I can find a good film industry job outside of the state, I would gladly get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did all the work though, and I'm assuming that was all of you investing in your own self and to get those permits. And then
it actually took me 6 years to get my dangerous weapons permit.
6?
Yeah. So I was still working as an armorer, but I was the guns I was using, they were the non-restricted weapons. So it was like I could do pistols, shotguns, and any non-assault style rifle. So, but yeah, I waited very patiently for 6 years while they dug really deep into my background and finally, I guess, vetted me for it.
Wow.
The other thing I had to have was I had to have a safe installed in the back of my vehicle.
What?
Yeah. So the video that I did for the Save Your Equipment with the bag that zoom in on my vehicle, if you pause it at some point, you can see this big giant black box in the back of my car.
Jesus.
And it is bolted into my vehicle in 6 different ways. It's I have a chain that runs down into the frame of the vehicle, and it's bolted into the frame.
That's so much money.
Yeah. It was like a $2,000 safe. Luckily, I had friends. I have friends in the film industry who were like, "Yeah, we'll do that. We'll install that." And so I brought I was working on Bosch at the time, and I just brought my vehicle around. And the Teamsters were like, "Cool. I brought them the box. They were like, we need this, and this." I gave them some cash to run to Home Depot, and they had it knocked out in a couple hours.
I love that, actually. You
next
can't
day,
ever buy another new car ever again.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could buy a new car, but I can't like go trade in this car. I can't use it as a trade in without like ripping this giant safe out, and then it's my car's toast.
Or you try and be like, this is where I hide the bodies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this adds $5,000 to the vehicle. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so I have to run this car into the ground.
So you got all that done, and then did you apply? Who hires? Are you on a? I don't even know.
So okay. So
I have a lot of questions about how this works. So I just
totally totally fine. I will try to explain it the best I can. They make it very confusing.
Sure.
Sorry.
You're good.
You can edit that part out.
I leave most of it. Just there.
It's just there.
It's there.
So I'm on an FFL for the prop house that I rent all of my weapons out of. It's ISS, Independent Studio Services, out of Sunland, California. And they have just if you're ever out in California, please hit me up. And I want to take you to this room because it is just
also
massive.
Where they hide the bodies. Also,
yes, there is a back room. They call it their shooting range, but I'm pretty sure that. No, I'm just kidding. No. But yeah, pretty much every gun that you've ever seen in a movie is there.
Holy cow!
I mean, anything from you can look at the Clint Eastwood guns. Everything is there. It's in stock, and they have it to look at.
Wow.
Anything, if you have a favorite what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movie with some guns in it that are fucking cool?
Probably like The Patriot. Those are like old school.
Yeah, they're in the back.
Yeah, they're in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, even Clint Eastwood though, and John Wayne.
Yeah.
Cool,
yeah, I mean, they have like they have all the John Wick guns in there.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's kind of.
I have the Benelli, and then I've got the Genesis on the way. We're good.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I want that Genesis.
I'm excited. Just wait till you see the colors that I went with.
Oh. I'm still financially recovering from my Sand Viper purchase, so.
Yeah. Those are
but,
so nice.
Oh God, I love that gun. So I actually have it sitting in front of me because it's just like.
Well, I'm cheating too, but I mean, like my Nighthawk's here.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Hold on. See, I actually have it in my savior bag.
See, I just keep it close and just to look at.
Oh,
I like
that's
to
the
pet
Glock.
him. The Glock. No, we don't want that guy.
Yeah, I mean that one's still cool too.
Just kidding.
Can't knock the Glock.
Once you go to a 2011, it's really hard though to go back to these polymer frame guns. I'll say that.
It is, but at the same time, it's like my Glock that I still use is it's a Combat Master.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is. I mean,
I like the sight block on that too.
Oh, it's so just.
I get it.
Oh,
I get it. I get it.
It's my favorite gun, hands down, and it's always an eye turner at competitions and stuff too. It's really it's fun. People, I walk by, they're like, "Oh, is that the Sand Viper?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, can I shoot that?" I'm like, "Yeah, come hang out after the match."
We've digressed. We've digressed.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. So the FFL, ISS is where like all the guns are stored and you rent.
Yeah. They help me apply for all my permits. But unfortunately, like once it's mailed off to the lovely city of Sacramento, it just falls into a black void. And normally the average wait time for my dangerous weapons permit should have been about 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years. I waited 6. And I waited 6 because I had my first background investigator, I guess, took all the applications and just stuck them in a drawer somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
California.
Because, yay, California.
Wow.
So I finally, 3 years later, get a phone call and he's got a new investigator now. And he's like, let's process all this. And at that time, I had to fly to Hawaii, go do a show. So I had to postpone my interview because they have to come and interview you and they have to interview your neighbors, your spouse, your kids, your family.
Like you said, you're still working and able to be on the set and be the armor. You just can't handle some of the
so
concealable 50 cal and the guns.
the super concealable 6 foot Barretts. Yeah.
Okay. But the studio hires you as an armorer.
Yeah. And so a lot of the time what would happen is I would be an additional armorer on shows. And so the guy that had the dangerous weapons permit, I would just work under him. I could still work and do all the stuff. I could still handle the weapons. I just couldn't have them. I couldn't take them from the prop house.
Right.
So I could still do the job. But I wasn't able to run machine guns and all those other dangerous weapons until I had my own permit.
So are most of these shows and stuff, they're using blanks, or is it all just kind of like dry fire and then all in post,
it's so a lot of shows now, I would say since Rust, have gone towards airsoft guns, which it's a bummer. It is a bummer.
Yeah.
Before the shutdown happened, I was doing a cop show and I was really pushing to get them to use real guns and do blanks, and because it's a cop show and it was supposed to be like this real gritty. They wanted live PD type show. If you're familiar with that show, they wanted a scripted live PD, and I was like, yes, this is how we do it. You got to use real guns. We got to use blanks. We got to you got to go for it. And I pushed so hard. They were getting so sick of me that I almost got fired. And my boss calls me. He goes, "Hey man, maybe pump the brakes on the gun stuff." I was like, "Oh,
what's your job?
Okay.
Your dream?
It's my job." Yeah, it's like I want to make things look as real as possible. And
do you think that the airsoft replicas are? I mean, even like passable. I don't want to even think about that. But I mean, do you think that they're going to show up on screen for gun owners to be like, eh?
It really depends. So I was very careful with the guns that I chose for this last show.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I got at least as close to the real thing as I could.
Sure.
And I think, for the stuff that we did use, I got an airsoft version of a Glock 17 Combat Master into the show. And it's an aftermarket slide that I had to have put on to an airsoft Glock.
Jesus.
And then I had to bring it over to Terran's, and I had to have their guys stipple the frame because they don't come stippled.
Right.
And then they don't make airsoft base pads for the Glocks. So I took an airsoft magazine. I wish I had it with me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you pictures later.
Yeah.
I have it. Actually, it's downstairs. It's in the garage. But yeah, I had to sit there and at TTI, and I sat there on their belt sander for about 3 hours, grinding material off of this magazine just to get a base pad to fit. Just like one of these guys.
You only have to do one gun and one base pad?
That was all I had time for, and that's all I had the patience for.
Yeah, that would suck.
In reality, one is none in our business.
Yeah, 100%.
But fuck, I couldn't. It was like, I don't want to sit here for another 3 hours trying to machine this crap.
Right.
So ended up not even getting to the point where we had to fire it yet because we got shut down.
Sure.
We only had one scene where there was actually any gunfire. Gunfire.
Right.
And it was an airsoft gun. It ended up working out because it was cold. And so the gun pushed out a lot of extra smoke, and it was really, it was like, I was keeping the mags hot. So it made it actually look good.
Cool.
But yeah, that was my big thing is I was really pressing them on trying to keep things real. And then the other thing I had to do with that Combat Master is I had to paint it because the barrel on the airsoft version,
orange.
It's not only that. Here, I'll show. This is the real one. But the barrel on the airsoft version is like this fluorescent gold color. And not only that, the orange tip you have to take off and everything.
Right.
But that wasn't a big deal. It was the painting and matching it, and the laser engraving on TTI's logo and the Combat Master. It's like white. So I'm sitting there, I'm on the back of the truck, just painting it and trying to knock down all these colors to make it look good. And I did that for 2 of them.
Jesus.
And then I installed I had put RMRs on this gun. I made it look fucking sick.
Yeah.
I made it look as good as I could.
Yeah.
And luckily I bought knockoff RMRs because I wasn't going to spend. They weren't going to give me the money to spend.
Yeah.
$400 on an RMR.
Yeah.
And so I bought some knockoff ones that looked
good. So can you talk about some of the sets that you've worked on, or some of your favorite actors that you have gotten to work with? Or I don't even know if you can talk about that. So
I can talk about it. I mean, I can't talk about stuff that's not released.
Right.
But I would say my favorite show that I've worked on is Bosch. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with that show. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I've been on that show. I've actually been working there for 3 years.
Cool.
And it's not a big show, but man, it's definitely the most fun as far as cast goes. Titus is an amazing person.
Oh.
He's a big gun guy, which is awesome. We sit there and we
fun.
Yeah. And I worked on we did the 2nd season of Legacy, and he's got a new gun, but I can't talk about that yet. But it was cool because I got to when I first started on the show, I got to bring Titus out over to Terran's, and we got to shoot and introduced him to Terran and Tatiana,
Yep.
Tatiana ended up getting on the show because of that. And
I was going to ask you that too. Have you ever been on the shows ever? You've been like an extra?
I've been an extra. Yeah, I've been an extra. It doesn't happen too often because I really don't like to. But I ended up being an extra back when I was on 24. I was working on 24.
Oh, cool! That's why you're a big fan too. They put you on the show.
Yeah, it was funny because I was a fan of the show before I even started working on it.
Right.
I started working on it at the end of season 5. But yeah, they threw me in. I think it was like season 7. Because there was like this scene where an actor's supposed to get carted away by paramedics, and the background paramedics that they had hired put on their resume that they were real paramedics, real EMTs. You get there, they don't know how to work the gurney.
They lied.
So yeah, they lied. They full on lied, and so they called me over. The first AD calls me over. She's like, "Can you show these guys how to use the gurney?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." I was like showing them, like, "Okay, here's the lever. You have to lift, and then it goes like this. And I have to do it that way." Okay, cool. So we spent like 20 minutes on this thing. Okay, so we're good. We're up. We're running. We're rolling. And then as soon as they're going, like, mind you, it's an actor that's on this gurney,
right?
And they go for it, and they slam the actor into the back of the ambulance on the gurney. They just go wham. And it's just like, cut, Justin. So they called me back over, and eventually it just got to the point where the first AD was like, "Okay, go to wardrobe. Just have them put you in a paramedic uniform. Let's go." And so I got ushered off to wardrobe. I got put through hair, makeup, and yeah.
Do you have a screen grab of you?
Oh,
I'm gonna find this.
I don't know if I have a screen grab. I definitely took a selfie of me in my paramedic uniform. But yeah, so I end up loading the actor in, jumping in the back of the ambulance, and then Kiefer jumps in behind me. And then, so then like a couple weeks later, we have to match the same thing. So they have to put me back into this uniform.
Awesome.
And then cut my hair again and do the whole thing.
Awesome.
And I have to match it coming out of it. It was fun. And it was
you get paid extra for that?
I did not get paid because but I did get 2 SAG vouchers. So like one more SAG voucher and I'm eligible.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, so
it's really cool.
Yeah, not that I would ever join SAG. I
know, but that's neat.
But it's fun. Yeah, and it's I get to say that I
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cool.
So yeah, it's fun.
That was actually a fun transition because I do want to go into the EMT world. Is there anything you want to leave behind in that world before you move on to talking about like medical stuff?
Oh God, as far as like experiences?
Or anything that you want to leave with, becoming an armor or maybe working in Hollywood or anything like that we just kind of left out?
As far as like being an EMT, it served me, like my education has served me a lot. It definitely helps when I'm instructing. I can be like, look, here's my med kit. I do know how to use it. I've forgotten a lot of my EMT stuff, but I remember all the life-saving stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like shooting. It's a perishable skill.
For sure.
So it's, if you don't keep up on it, then you lose it.
So, I think basically what I want to get into with this is what is some like basic kit stuff that shooters, gun owners, people that travel, especially like by themselves, should have maybe in their car, in their range bag, or even on their body, and know how to use, not just have it.
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? Is actually training and knowing how to use it. Yep. So I always suggest, if they're going to keep a little first aid kit on their belt. I know a lot of trainers, me myself, I carry on my back of my belt, I have a little first aid kit. It's got quick clot, it's got compression bandage, it's got like all of your little essentials, and I have a separate tourniquet.
Yep.
It's so important to know how to use that stuff though, because if the first time you have to use a tourniquet is when somebody's bleeding out in front of you, that's not the time to learn.
Yep.
Take it out of your pouch. Figure out how it works, figure out how that strap goes. I've seen so many guys that have tourniquets that have the little Velcro covering the front of your tourniquet. And I've looked at them like, have you ever practiced with this? And they're like, what? Like, yeah, because if you take that out, that's one extra step because now you've got to pull that tab away from all of the rest of it to actually open it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can't tell you how many people I've showed, like, just pull the tab, fold it open. So it's like sticking out a little bit. It's like a little flag now,
Yep.
but it's like little things like that. And I constantly hammer on people. I'm like, just train with this stuff, take it out, look at it, figure out what it is.
Yep. On the tourniquet side stuff too, like one piece of advice that I had was like I bought two, but also have like a training one. So like that way you're not having like use something that you might want to use. So it's like you have really one that you can put to work. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. I have a couple of them, and I've always just kind of, I mean, I've used them in the past, so I know how they work.
That's fun.
But yeah.
In the fugitive recovery job or in the
in the EMT job, actually, I used it. God, about 2010, there was a train wreck. It was a big train wreck, head-on train wreck. That I was actually, when I was working on 24, but my mom, who's a nurse, she calls me. She goes, "Grab your kit. We're gonna go help."
Oh wow!
And so her and I did triage on that train wreck for about 11 hours.
What? How old were you?
God, I gotta do the math. I was 24, 25.
Young though. That's a lot to see. Yeah.
It was a lot. Yeah, I definitely needed some therapy after that. I saw some shit there.
Yep.
It was bad.
Yep.
Basically what had happened was a freight train hit a passenger train, and the passenger train was pushing. So the engine was in the back, and all the passenger cars were in the front. So when we got there, it looked like it was split open like a banana.
Ooh.
It was just banana peel, and it was derailed. It was on the side, and we were pulling people from the front cars, missing limbs. They were bleeding out. Yeah, it was rough. I had one lady that was further back that was pregnant, and I was triaging her. I had her in the green zone, and I was just talking to her, taking her vitals, making sure she was okay, checking her eyes, and I looked down. She's sitting in a plastic chair, and I look down and I see water. I see liquid. And I was like,
"Oh, great!
Fuck. Yep, here we go." So I move her. Into a different zone, and I grab one of the paramedics, and I was like, "You got a helicopter coming, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, we got helicopters coming right now." I was like, "You get her on this next one right now." And I show them that she's leaking fluid.
Yeah.
And I think she was like 6-7 months pregnant at the time.
Oh no.
And so yeah, chopper lands. I help load her into the chopper. And she took off. I don't know what happened after that.
I'll say you don't know. I can't imagine the closure you don't get. I have a couple of friends in Tallahassee. A lot of them, they're all like law enforcement or EMS services, and a lot of them that were EMTs, like they've been to a shooting before at a yoga studio, and they've seen kids, go and had to deliver a baby before and all that.
Yeah.
But they don't know what happens after. That's the hard.
Yeah. It sucks. Yeah, I had a lot of people. There's a few people in that just one incident where I was like, I don't know. I hope they made it. I hope, that one lady, I hope her baby's okay. And, I hope she survived. I hope the baby survived. That was the first time I had experienced death in front of me as well. Yeah. I had somebody with a full amputation below the knee. And they had a complete laceration from the top of their hip down to their other knee, the one they still had. And I was assisting. We were doing CPR and trying to control bleeding. And I remember looking down as we were trying to attach the leads for the defibrillator. Yeah. I watched it was like she was like pouring blood, and all of a sudden I watched the blood stop.
Oh.
And I was like, oh fuck. Like that was real. Like that's stuff that like stuck with me. And that was years ago, and it's still like
it's still there.
Something that's burned into your brain.
I had that on the car accident where the kid died on Thanksgiving last year.
Oh my God, that's awful.
I mean, but that stuff was, I'm not an EMT. I didn't get called there. I was driving home, and I was in Mississippi, far from Tennessee. I was the first person to pull over and call 911, and the car was so smashed and upside down, none of us could even open the door. it took Jaws of life, but the kid had already died. Like his neck was sideways. But
Eesh.
what I think about that is like the gun stuff's really great and important, sure, and like we're all passionate about that. But the medical side of stuff, I don't think there's just enough open access and like resources to some of it either. Is like I've done the American Cross training, which no offense is absolute dog shit. Like it doesn't you, doesn't train you. They do what they can, and so like when I was doing like instructor credentials for firearm stuff, it was like I want to do first aid, CPR, all of like the tools I can, but there's just not enough people putting on those classes. I mean, do you know of any people that travel and teach like medical stuff in the firearms world?
In the firearms world, I really don't. Unfortunately, it's something that is lacking, I feel like. And I don't feel like at this point that I would be qualified to do something like that. It's so far behind me that I wouldn't feel qualified.
Right. No, I know. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't feel qualified to teach firearms because I'm like, oh, I'm just syndrome, but I am on the basic level. But there is that like, oh, we've talked about this too. You and I have talked about this. I have terrible imposter syndrome. I have days where I wake up, I'm getting ready to go teach a class, and I'm like, I don't deserve to do this. Who the fuck am I to teach people I'm
how
not
to shoot?
GM level shooter.
No. I'm an A level shooter, but same, and don't look at my limited score because I'm still a C because I haven't shot limited in 10 years. I just kind of like gave it up.
Stack once and forgot to load the mags before the classifier stages. So there was one where I shot 2 and I was like, right. And then like the next mag had like 4 rounds and I'm like, cool. And then
I can't. You know what? I've done that. I've done that. I was like all jazzed. I had my stage plan all ready to go. Buzzer goes off. I'm firing. And then I go to load my first mag, and I was like, "This feels really light."
It's not funny, but it's really funny.
And I was like, "That felt really light as it's going in." And I go, "Bam, bam, bam!" Click, and I'm like slide lock. I was like, "Oh,
that was a bad day." I shot
the mag. Oh yeah,
one match in the rain, all classifier match, 3 people on my squad, and so we were trying to shoot, reset, score, or like all that in a group, and then it wasn't in me, and I'm like, you know what, this whole thing's not worth it.
Oh,
it's really
God,
fun.
That's awful.
But I mean, like just the instructing side is hard, but I still think like even at the basic level, it's like I personally think that the people I know that shoot like really just don't even have a clue. I mean, I carry enough medical kit for 4 people for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For me, I have a backpack, I have an individual, I have another one strapped to my truck, and like I have so many things, but I'm like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I have, I always keep a first aid kit in my car. And part of my spiel when I start my class is always like, here's the medical kit. I have one on me. If something happens to me, there's one in the car.
Right.
I appoint certain people to do different jobs.
Yep.
I'm like, here's what's going to happen if, something happens, somebody gets shot. Yep. They're going to do this. This person's going to do this. This person's going to run down to the road and grab the phone.
Yep.
Which is like, 50 feet.
I do the same thing. We have a plan. That way not everybody's trying to do all the things. And it's
exactly. Yeah. There's like, everyone's got a job if something happens. I always like, here's my emergency action plan. Like, cool. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about safety and then we can have some fun.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's valuable. And like the tools and the tool belt is having that as well. Which, okay. So EMT was part of your job too, but fugitive recovery agent, like, and you're a young kid, right? So I think about like how young you were doing.
Young kid. Oh,
yeah, you were. You were in your 20s.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was 21 when I started.
That's a child. You can't take down grown-ass people. Like, did you run around with a gun?
Yeah. Yeah.
And your dad's like, this is fine. Like,
yeah, we had a fucking great time.
So what does that look like? How do you get a job order? And then where do you start in hunting someone down?
Oh my God. Okay. So my dad's been a PI for.
Please don't look me up later.
I've already done that. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
I have my dad run a full background on you already. Sure. Yeah. No, my dad's been doing it since. I'm gonna mess this up. I think 98.
Oh wow. 6. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I was a little kid too, and I was. I did my first job with him actually when I was 14. Yeah. I did undercover surveillance. Yeah. I went in with a backpack and a little hidden camera, and
What? He sent his kid
yeah,
in? Oh my God. I want to meet your dad.
My dad's a cool guy. You probably really like him. But yeah, he sent me in to do this undercover surveillance because it was a slander case, and so my job was basically to get these people to talk shit about this other company and just disparage them, and I got it. I just I led them into it and and totally got everything that my dad's client needed to win their case.
Idiots.
Yeah. But it was funny because I was 14, so that was 99.
No,
I don't remember.
Can't do math. That's okay.
I can't do math. It's no, 14. I was a freshman in high school. It was 2000.
2001?
Yeah, 2000, 2001, somewhere around there. So the technology back then was a little primitive.
Yeah.
So I had a pager camera, which was about this. The pager was probably about that big, and it was clipped onto my belt. And I had a wire running under my pant line into my backpack. Through the backpack was the giant video recorder.
Oh, wow.
So I'm lugging this big giant.
Could you try again?
It's you. Fucking Apple Watches, man.
They hear you.
Yeah, they do. Swear to God, they're always listening.
The technology was there, but not really, but it was.
Yeah, it was kind of there. It was on the verge, but yeah, so I was lugging around this giant video recorder inside my backpack and trying to get these people to, open up about how much they hated this other company and how bad they were, blah, 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 blah. I got it to work, and so I was 14 when I did my first case with my dad, and I was 21 when I started carrying a firearm, working with him, but I did one job with him before I could legally carry a gun. So I wasn't carrying a gun, which is a little sketchy.
Yeah.
I had a taser.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that point, I didn't even, that was all I had. I had a taser and handcuffs and my bulletproof vest. And that was it. Because at the time, I didn't have any certifications for anything else.
Right. Have you been shot at when you were doing that stuff?
No, I've never been shot at. Shot at.
That's good.
I pulled my weapon a bunch of times. Never had the intention of using it. It was more for house clearing and trying to,
Gotcha.
just do the job. But no, never been shot at intentionally.
Were you successful in this career?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We caught a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. Is how do you find them? Okay, those days too wasn't as much as it's so easy now to track.
It's so easy now. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm looking, and it's funny because now I think my dad, he'd probably get mad at me if I give away any secrets, but social media is a big factor for sure.
Yeah.
Because people are dumb.
So dumb.
And they're just oh, I just checked in here. Okay, stupid. I'll see you in a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think about that now, not that I'm at that level, but just after I leave a place is when I post about what I got to go do, or even if I'm oh, I'm there, but it's I've already left, because I know people are watching and would probably make it a target.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if it's your house, if it's a restaurant, if it's a store. It's just post about it, when you're leaving, when you're done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Simple.
But even still, it's people can do that, and it's oh, now I have an idea of where you're at, and that all of that different stuff will help establish a pattern sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad is he's been doing it for a really long time. He's really good at it. He's got all his different databases and stuff like that. It's come in handy a lot because I'll be hey Dad, can you look up this guy?
Oh my God.
If I'm selling something, if somebody's buying something off of Marketplace or something, I'm hey Dad, this is his name. This is what he looks like. Can you just make sure he's not a fucking creep and I don't have to shoot somebody?
Yeah.
Do
you know, or do you work with Tony McBride's dad?
Tony McBride. Oh, no, I don't. I know Tony.
Because he's in Hollywood and he's an actor. I was just curious if your paths ever crossed, especially because
what's his name? Maybe we have. I know so many fucking people.
I should know, but he's an actor. He does more like
I didn't
the.
mean to put you on the spot.
I know. I should know the name. I can't remember. I'm so sorry, Tony. But I see all of her posts, with him like working and stuff. I thought that was kind of cool.
It's very possible. It's very possible. I know.
You should know. You literally live there and you go to Terrans. All I'm saying. But I did want to ask this because we keep bringing up like California, like carrying a gun, being able to have the permits and stuff. But like for the average person, I don't even know it anymore at all because I just don't care.
Yeah.
What does the average person have to do to get to carry a gun, whether it's concealed or even own a gun and not even have to be able to carry? Like what? I don't know what California's rules are. I know they're
there's so many. There's so many, and they keep changing.
Mm-hmm. Tackle that one.
Yeah. Oh God, how long?
Disclaimer.
Do you have?
Yeah, it's like disclaimer too. Is like he's not a lawyer, but let's talk about like if you live in California, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm not giving legal advice.
No.
Okay, so in order to own a firearm in California, you have to take a firearm safety test, which it's so easy. Literally, like if you can dress yourself without assistance, you can pass this test. It's questions like, which way does the muzzle go? It's like, do you point it at your face? Yeah. It's bonehead, stupid stuff like that. Like if you fail this test, like
then good.
Yeah, thank
you.
You should probably go back to elementary school and just start over. So you have to have that. It's good for 5 or 6 years or something. I'd have to look.
Okay.
And then you just have to retake the test. I have mine. I don't know if I still need it anymore because of everything else that I have.
I'm talking about a regular human, so they have to take a class, or they take the test.
They take a test. Yes.
They take the test. They get.
Yeah.
Then what's next?
After that, usually they take this test at the FFL, whatever gun store you're at. They'll give you the test right there. They'll administer it. They'll grade it, and they'll print out a card for you right there.
A card.
Yeah, it's a little. Let's see if I still have mine. It's probably old as shit.
Is it a permit, or is it just saying you've passed a class?
It is firearms. I don't know how well you can see that. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I had to laminate it because otherwise it would just fall apart in my wallet.
Of course, because why would the government pay for laminated cards?
Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, my CCW is laminated, but
so that's the
separate
next step I want to get to. But so they get that card. Now they can go buy what? Pistol?
Now they can buy. Yeah, that is for
but California compliant.
Yes, our California compliant
right,
guns,
right.
Which means up until recently you had to have to get on this California safe handgun roster. They had to have 3 things. They had to have a magazine disconnect, a loaded chamber indicator, and microstamping.
Huh?
Yeah.
What's
microstamping.
Yeah.
So microstamping was this horrific technology that they thought would be life-saving. Basically, what it was supposed to do is it's supposed to have individualized numbers, microscopically printed on the tip of a firing pin, and it would hit the primer,
right,
and it would leave that number pressed in on the primer. Now,
nope.
It's not feasible. It doesn't work.
No.
And so that actually recently got thrown out. But we still have magazine disconnects and loaded chamber indicators. So
you can't buy guns that are, I mean, I know they make California compliant firearms, but these manufacturers, it's on the manufacturer to make these guns.
Yes. And there's a whole different thing. So on my Smith & Wesson Shield, it's got this thing on top.
I see that.
Yeah, I don't know. Your guys probably don't look like, your guys' shields don't look like that. It says loaded when up.
What?
Yeah. So when there's a round in there.
Oh my God.
It looks like that.
I do.
So,
a little red lever.
Little red lever. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what it has to have. And also, full weapon. No clicking.
Can't dry fire it?
Nope, can't do dry fires.
Disconnect.
Yeah, magazine disconnect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
To live here still. Okay, so California.
Hey, now, I mean, in the film industry, it's kind of. I know.
Atlanta.
Yeah, it's
Now, how does someone, average Joe, going back to them, get the concealed or carry permit or whatever for California?
It is since the Bruin decision, right? Bruin. It's gotten a lot easier. In a lot of counties, LA County used to be literally impossible to get CCW, because they were a May issue. They were a May issue county.
Okay.
And you basically had to be contributing to the mayor's campaign in order to get a CCW. You had to be a celebrity. You had to be like top tier. You couldn't be an average person.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Insane. But if you went literally 20 minutes away and you went into like Ventura County, Ventura County is a shall issue.
Wait, but are you talking about like applying or living? Like, could you live in a different county and then just drive to the different county?
Yeah. My CCW is good statewide. Yeah.
So it just makes people drive. It just makes people drive. You have
to show residence in Ventura County. Okay. So you would have to be a resident of Ventura County, apply in Ventura County. Yeah, but now it's different now. We have a much more friendly sheriff in LA County. And then so actually when I originally applied, you still had to have a good cause. Like you had to in my application I had to say, I can't talk. I had to type in a good cause statement.
Yeah.
And it was, that's easy for me. Right. I'm an armorer and I transport machine guns for a living.
But the average person's not even going to know how to write that or what is
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So after the Bruin decision, that whole good cause statement got thrown out. So now you just have to be just a sane human being. Now you just have to be able to not be a complete whack job.
So you still get your fingerprint, your photograph, your background check, and then this is county, any county?
This is any, some counties are trying to make it more difficult. I think everybody has to be a shall issue. Like our wonderful California governor, who's been fighting all of this tooth and nail, came out and was like, well, I guess we have to give them all CCWs now. And he's Newsom.
We don't have to go into that, but okay. So, but now it's better.
Yeah. So it's gotten a little easier for us, even though they're still trying to find ways to hang us up.
Yeah.
LA County, now you apply. You pay your fees. They do the background check. They come in. You do an interview. I interviewed with the sheriff detective. It was no big deal. It was fine. We sitting there just chatting and laughing the whole time.
It's an extra step for average an American.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra steps. It took me, I think it took about 1 year and 3 months to get my CCW.
No.
Yeah, and it's good for 2 years. And then I have to. Yeah, then I have to renew it. Crazy. Well, it won't take that kind of
the length. But I'm just talking like mine. Tennessee is 8 years. I don't remember how. Florida is like 7, maybe. I don't remember.
That's how long your permits are good for.
I'm saying, and then the renewal stuff. It's so bad in Tennessee where it's like if you go 8 years with it expired, as long as you like pay your dues or whatever to renew at some point during that whole 8 years of expiration, they're like, yeah, you're good. You can do a lifetime one if you want. Like they want their money.
Oh my God, that's insane.
That's why when you said 2, I'm like, that's also insane. But think about
honey, we're leaving California.
I've been trying to tell you that for a long time here. I'm like, and the hard part of what I struggle with is like, I don't want these steps where like Florida, you had to take a class and not even take a class. It was like, the statute read, you had a live fire in front of a certified instructor, which their certifications in the statutes of Florida was like an NRA instructor, a law enforcement person, military personnel, whatever. And so like, even your buddy could be a law enforcement officer, watch you live fire on a range, tell you nothing about concealed carry permit law at all, sign your little certificate, and like you're on your way. And then the gun world in Florida, they would have people come into an FFL and shoot into a water bucket with a .22 one time, not even load the gun, not even show safe gun handling, not even understand a gun. Just they would load it, hand it to them, and tell them to shoot into a bucket, shoot into a wall.
What does that prove?
but it's fulfilled the statute that said, live fire in front of an instructor. It didn't say qualification, didn't say yardage, didn't say how many, didn't say what caliber. So I'm going on and on about this because I am all for the Second Amendment and freedom. So it's not that I want those restrictive processes or the ones that are there and they're like kind of skirted around. I just want people to think about like, why are you driving a car without knowledge of how to drive it? Why are you having a gun without the knowledge of a gun?
Yeah.
Like
and certain counties will have different regulations as far as the training requirements.
But I hate that still, but I want people to do that of their own.
But I want people to train exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like so I have my CCWs through LA County. Yeah. LA County's training is a joke.
Yeah.
I showed up and like, cause I have a friend who's a CCW instructor. He was like, yeah, I'll get you in. And, literally like I got the email saying that I was approved. You have to get an email from the sheriff that says you are approved to go to train.
Yeah.
So I got that email. I called my friend and said, hey, can you get me in tomorrow? And he goes, actually, yeah, I have a class. I have a free spot. And so I got in the next day. And that was like literally the only reason I got it in a year and 4 months was because I was like, just hammering away. But so I show up, I have all my guns that I'm going to be putting on my permit. I have all my different holsters. I have all my extra magazines. I have everything like ready to go and prepped. And he looks at all my stuff and he goes, oh yeah, you don't need holsters.
Huh?
I was like, what do you mean I don't need holsters? This is a concealed carry class, right? He goes, yeah, LA County doesn't require you to actually draw from a holster. You're gonna be picking everything up from the table and loading and unloading. I was like,
no.
Oh my God. And then just like the accuracy that you needed to have.
Mm-hmm. Broadside of a barn. Yeah.
Yeah. It was literally,
yeah.
Yeah. The silhouette was this big across, and it like, you had to get it within like his shoulder parameter. Like
it's not good.
Yeah, no. And the people that were with me that were taking this class, I really hope they get more training because there was people missing. There was people missing these giant ass silhouettes.
No, I know. I don't want to laugh because it's so bad. It's so bad. And I can harp on this forever.
Yeah.
But the people, so this is what checks me on the imposter syndrome is that I've not passed everyone that have taken my classes. And in Florida, like I required people to be with me for 8 hours because if I'm tied to you and I'm signing something and my name was on that, it's like, you're going to know the law. You're going to be drawn.
Yeah.
You're going to be shooting 9 mil minimum.
Fuck, yeah.
Not 22.
Not 22.
But there are instructors out there that are like, I just want you to show up. I'm going to keep you for 30 minutes. You're going to shoot one round of 22 into a wall, into a water bucket at a gun show in a hotel. Like, and that's the thing. And then they sign off on it and they're sleeping at night. They're sleeping at night, but that's across the country.
I couldn't. I could never.
Yeah. Like that's how my friend Malin, she's like, yeah, I just shot into a wall or something like one time with a revolver 22 and just one round, didn't load the gun, didn't even get to hot grip. Just, and like, that's it. And then she got a permit, which I'm glad she has because she trains, she shoots and she's taught my gals day. She's great, but it's like,
that's amazing.
Those aren't the people I'm worried about.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was the same thing when I took this class with my friend. He was like, I'm not worried about you. He's like, I know you can shoot. I know you can draw from concealment. He's like, but this is all that is required.
Yeah.
And I was just fucking blown away.
Yeah.
That you could just sign off on somebody who literally, I think I fired 50 rounds that day. The entire class, 50 rounds.
I know.
I do that.
That's
on
Tennessee.
A single, I do it on a single stage in a match.
Listen, that's Tennessee's requirement is 50 shots, and it's just different distances. It's not much, but it's a huge target.
Oh, yeah, huge target. 3 yards, 3 to 7 yards, and I'm just like, fuck.
7 and like 11. I haven't taught that class in like a year now, but it's like 50 rounds. Yeah, 50 rounds. Yeah. That's it. You're good. Standing still. Don't move.
Yeah, standing still. Don't move.
Yeah, no drawing. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it could be a 22. You can shoot a 22 in this class. I don't really understand that, but okay. Maybe an airsoft. An airsoft technically puts holes into paper.
Yeah, it puts holes in paper. Sure, yeah. Great. Oh my God.
I will leave that alone. Is there anything else you want to talk about with the California? I was trying to help Californians that listen to this podcast. If there's anything else like...
Oh, there's no help for us.
Jack, move. Be sure to move. But
yeah,
just don't
move.
Just don't take Tennessee. Don't take your bullshit here.
Yeah. Don't
ruin
don't
other
move.
freedom
Don't
states.
move and then vote the same way that you voted here that ruined this place.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we've talked about a lot in your world and your life. The only other thing I would say is like, do you have maybe some like 5 pieces of advice or something like 5 biggest mistakes you see new gun owners make that you would just recommend for them?
5? I got a million.
I know. It's like, can you? It doesn't have to be 5.
I have to narrow it down.
Yeah, you can spitball here, but just little nuggets for people listening.
I would say the biggest thing that I see that new gun owners do is they don't train.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying you have to come train with me. It's the only way to do it. Train with somebody. Like, get out there, put some rounds down range. Like, learn your tool.
Yeah.
That's a tool. You know, if you buy a gun and stick it in a nightstand and you never think about it again, the first time you shoot that gun should not be when somebody's breaking into your house.
Yep.
You know, coming after you.
Yep.
You want to know how to use that gun. You want to be proficient with it. You know.
So the second time I ever fired, is that it? Just the second time?
Just the second time. That's fine. That's good. You did it before. Yeah.
No.
And
second time that day. Come on, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another thing that some people don't think of is using their defensive ammo to train with.
Yep.
I can't 100%. Tell you how many. Yeah, I have so many students that are like, oh, well, I have these 115 grain Winchester. I was like, all right, well, what's your defensive ammo? Oh, 147. You know, whatever. You know, gold dot, spear, gold dot. Right. I was like, do you know where your hits are? What? Huh? It's the same, right? And I was like,
not just that. I'm glad you brought that up. Is I had one lady, horrible pistol choice, which I won't trash on it, but horrible.
Yeah, I've had some of those.
She only had defensive ammo, which I was happy that she had it. Honestly,
that's great.
Every other round was a malfunction because the feed ramp with the hollow point profile could not feed into that gun, and then it ended up being every round. And so she was like, "I'm like, do you understand that this could be with someone coming at you? You cannot clear it. You're gonna have to drop the mag and clear it.
You're dead.
You're dead."
That's
so it was. I wish we could replicate some of that stuff. Like I know, like dummy rounds helps and stuff, but like really not replicate, but show people like this is what it's going to cost you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I do like to do that in my classes as well.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fun to throw. I'll load their magazines for them, and I'll throw a dummy round in there because I'm like, I know they're flinching.
Yep.
Or I know they're doing something dumb. Yep. And then they go click, and I was like, ha!
It's my favorite. I don't clear anybody's malfunctions. Like I'll show them and instruct them like the first time or in class or whatever. And then after that, and that's the other stuff, as instructors, quit doing stuff for them that they are not going to know how to do when you're not there. So like I make people at my gals day, every single one of them, I told my ROs, don't clear malfunctions. If it malfunctions, you walk them through clearing that out.
Yeah.
But they're doing it. They're learning.
Absolutely. I will clear it the first time.
Yeah.
Because I won't tell them I'm loading a dummy round in there typically.
No.
Yeah. So I'll be like, okay, cool, and I'll take it, and I'll be like, this is how you would clear it, and this is called tap and rack, and you know, it's like you do that whole thing.
Yep.
And then once we get further down in the class, then we start adding dummy rounds in. Then I'm like, fix it.
Yep.
Oh, you didn't go bang? Fix it. How do you fix it?
I like your attitude. Okay. Those are some good mistakes. Okay. So defensive rounds, train with those, try those out, see if they function. And then, where's the point of aim?
See how they function. See how that recoil feels. That's a big one.
Yeah. And like, I zero with defensive ammo for the carry guns. And then same with like rifles. I zero with my heavy rounds I'm shooting, further out with for accuracy. So zero with whatever you're going to use in that gun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, the main carry gun that I use is a 365 X Macro.
I just got one of those. I just won one. I just won.
You won one?
I won one. I won that. I won the Mossberg MC.
Oh man.
2SC. I've won like at a Jericho.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
For the last,
that's cool.
2 months, I've just been like winning these pistols.
Oh, lucky you.
I know.
That's awesome.
2 were random draws. I will say that.
Random draws?
Yeah, 2 were random. I'm really lucky. So this Mossberg thing, I'll say this. I don't know if you saw my post, but we were shooting a 3-man 3-gun.
Yeah.
One person draws for your team's like awards. And so they bring me this trash bag, and it's just been like, envelope, and then someone was like, "Fuck you, those are guns," and like I opened them up, and I'm like, "Hey boys," like, and my teammates was like, "I don't want to hear any trash talking because I want us all pistols," and they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "I'm really lucky." So if you ever need to win something, no joke, like people turn to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna squad with you. I'm gonna make sure.
It's every time, and like my
Kenzie,
friends that were going to hike the Narrows, even they're like, "You got to speak into some Kenzie luck for us," and they won the passes to that day.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
But
So,
no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Yeah. So the macro, that's what I carry every day. Got a Holosun on it. TLR7 Streamlight.
Nice.
Yeah, and where's the ammo? Where's my full mag? Oh, here it is. But yeah, where was I going with this?
But it should be Super Val. Keep going.
Actually, I'm actually waiting until I've gotten rid of all of the ammo because I have a ton of it.
Yeah.
Taryn gave me some really good spicy 9mm, but as soon as I've shot through all that at the range, I will be going to Super Val because I do use Super Val for everything else.
Yeah. Their defensive ammo, I think you saw my post. Like the Bloom is really nice. I did a lot of hollow point testing.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think we were talking about, I know we were talking about the accuracy, the reliability of it, and I think that was part of the recoil management.
Oh, yeah. Learning your recoil management with your defensive ammo, because, if I just pop in my, I shoot, a lot of my range ammo is 124 grain Super Val. Mm-hmm. It's gonna function way different than this spicy stuff will.
Yeah.
And so I zero my dot to where this hits. I don't want to zero my dot to where my practice ammo hits. Yeah, because that's not going to do me anything. So if I'm looking at my dot and I happen to be using my training ammo, I still know where my hits are going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's super important. And to know that your defensive ammo is going to probably kick a lot harder than your wimpy little 115 grains will.
Yeah.
And to how to manage that and okay, I've got to be a little more aggressive with my support hand.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's going to tear out of my hand. But
what are some other tips too? Where you're on? I know, but they're good. They're good. These are really good so far.
Yeah. No. It's dry fire practice is huge. I always tell people,
you can't do it in California.
Yeah, you can. So like my 365, it's not on the roster. I got it. So it's.
So guys, go ahead and like buy your gun cash elsewhere. Yeah.
No. It's registered. It's registered.
I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna have fucking ATF at my door.
I know. I'm kidding. Dry fire is huge though.
Dry fire is huge. I always tell people to do it. It's huge. It's not going to be 100% of what you need. But getting that draw, getting that muscle memory.
Yeah.
It's all about getting those reps.
Especially in different clothing. So like a carry gun, like before I go out, I like to kind of dry fire. I obviously don't pull the trigger, but it's like, all right, let me do a couple reps.
I want to make sure my shirt clears. Yeah. Because I have shirts that I'm like, I'm not printing. It looks good.
Yep.
But I go to try and I'm like, this material doesn't stretch.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, next shirt.
I found a camisole I was wearing underneath one time, and it had like lace trim, which like I never ever wear it. And then the one time I did, it got stuck up on the holster, and it would like catch. And I was like, oh well, that's a good to know.
That's dangerous. Yeah,
I've never worn it since.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I definitely. Anytime before I go out, and when I put my gun on, I want to make sure my clothes work and everything fits properly. And I'm not showing because they get real mad at you.
Oh yeah,
they get real mad at you. Actually,
I don't even want to see your gun. Like I don't want to know.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't want anyone to see my gun. And that's it's funny because I go back and forth with people all the time about like exposed carry versus concealed carry, and it's like I would rather people not know that I have a gun.
Preach.
Yeah, I just would rather have it concealed. In California, it's now you're not allowed to carry exposed anymore without a permit. Which, when I was doing the bounty hunting stuff, I had all that. But at the same time, it's like, you're definitely a target.
Yep.
Well,
there's so many other things to target, but it's like, you're making other people uncomfortable. I'm even uncomfortable if I see some dude with his open carry drop holstered leg strap thing. I'm like, this is intimidating. I don't know. And I don't think you're trying.
I don't know who this guy is. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the other stuff that it brings on is mischief is like when kids are running around stores, it doesn't matter if kids, teenagers, whatever. it's like they don't know the difference sometimes between real and fake and not wanting to mess with someone. And I'm sure that's a point where it's like, let me go mess with that guy, grab it out of the holster. But yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
like concealability like is everything, because it's just like a secret thing that you feel safe, comfortable, and you're not attracting attention. That's the whole thing.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. It's just your last resort tool anyway. You know, it's
Yep.
And honestly, it, I don't. My in-laws don't know I have it because they're like super anti-gun.
Yeah.
But the rest of my family knows. Everybody knows. My kids know.
Yeah.
My wife obviously knows. It'd be weird if I kept that from her.
I would hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and she would give me shit at first. Originally, like when I first started concealing, you know, she was like, "Ugh, you're just going to the grocery store." And I was just like,
have we seen it?
Exactly. And I told her, I was like, look, if I was a psychic, I could look into the future. I would only carry on that one day that I knew.
Yep.
It's like, but I don't. If I leave the house to go pick up, you know, groceries or you know whatever,
it's on me.
If you see me in public, it's on me.
It's on me.
Yeah, I don't care. Yep. Unless I'm like going to a bar. Like,
we're like legal stuff.
Yeah. And then I will still drive to the bar, take it off of me, secure it, and then go in. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna make a stop before that or.
I want your car safe. I just think that is the coolest
thing. It's fucking dope.
It
is fucking dope. It's got a pull-out drawer. It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take a video of it later and send it to you. I'll show you. Yeah. Cool. It's really cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of what else we didn't cover. Any other final thoughts, pieces of advice? I mean, because this has been really good here.
God, no. I just train. Not only train with good instructors, because there are, I mean, you're on Instagram, you know, there are some people that are instructors.
1 in 50 is good. 1 in 50.
Yeah, exactly.
No exaggeration.
I would like to think that I'm one of the good ones.
100%. You are 100%.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
100%.
But there's like, I see so many videos online where it's just like, well, they're learning the skill, but they're going to come to me later and I'm going to have to reteach them.
Yeah.
You know, there's a company out here that trains stunt people. And somebody sent me the video of her class that she did. And I immediately responded. I was like, well, we're going to have to fix all that because you're holding the gun wrong. She was like
the teacup.
She wasn't teacupping, but she was doing this. Her hand was down here.
Yeah.
And she was like, her firing hand was completely off the grip, and I was just like, perfect. She was leaned back. She was like doing, literally, it was like everything that you could do wrong, she was doing wrong. And I'm just like, oh,
tell her, don't post the video.
Yeah, that's what I did. I said, please take that down. Please take that down. You look ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was like, because she was like, oh, I want to come to your class, blah, blah, blah. Because I was going to do a.
It's good, though, that you have a relationship with her to tell her to take it down. Yeah. That she doesn't look professional or knowing what she's doing, right? It's like those are the tougher conversations, but like being brutally honest with someone, I think, is really valuable too.
Yes, absolutely. And I will always be honest with people. You know, if I think I've stepped in it before, you know, if I think their training sucks, I've called people out on it. You know, but then again, it's like, I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything.
No, none of us do.
Yeah. And there's people that have asked me to teach classes that, you know, yes, I know the material. I could do it.
Right.
But I'm
not
like,
the best person for it.
Not the best person. I actually have a guy. Here's the other instructor that I could, you know, here's my guy.
Yeah.
You know, he could teach you this better than I could because I know how to do it, but he might be able to verbalize it better than me.
For sure.
So it's really, it's not about just finding any old instructor. Find somebody that's good. Find somebody that's qualified. You know, just because they're NRA certified doesn't mean they're a good instructor.
Doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean shit. No, it's
literally a piece of paper got printed, and I'm not
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's when I got certified, my instructor looked at me and he goes, "It's like he's like this and $5 will get you a cup of coffee."
Correct.
It's like, this doesn't mean shit.
Correct.
You know, it's all about how you train. And how you instruct people, and that's the big deal. And
find the
keeping
instructors
people
that are doing as well.
Yeah,
that they
exactly.
can show you an example that they are out there honing their skills, taking classes from other instructors. That's something I would love to do. It's like, but that's vet them, challenge them, questions, research their social media.
Exactly. Please, yes, please. And I'll shoot alongside some of my students sometimes.
Me too.
I have fun with them. Because I can't tell you. I mean, you probably get it all the time. Oh, my gun's shooting low and left. My sights are off, and I'm like, oh, okay, really?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Justin, how does someone, first of all, what's like your Instagram name and username? And then how would someone go to find like a website or a class, or how do they get teaching from you?
Okay. So, obviously if you're in Southern California area, that's the easiest thing.
Yeah.
I don't expect people that are going to fly across country to come train with me.
Not yet. You don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll save a spot for you if you want to come out sometime.
Oh yeah, I plan on it. I just hate California, but the day that I come, it'll be a week. We'll be at Taryn's range. We'll get Zach.
Fuck yes!
It'll be a whole thing. No, it will.
Yeah, I can't wait. Okay, so social media. It is JT Tactical on Instagram. You can follow like all the other stuff, and Threads the same way now. Threads a new thing.
I can't believe you caved to Threads, but I won't judge you.
I did it on, it's funny. I did it on accident. I was like, what's this? And I did it and I was like, this looks like Twitter. I hate Twitter. This is awful. I'm good. And I like posted one thing and I was like, why am I here? That was literally my post. I was like, why the fuck am I here? I'm good. and so, and I had to turn off all the notifications because everyone's like, oh, follow. And I have like, I have enough followers that my phone was just like constantly just like, oh, this person's following you. I was like, I don't fucking care.
We digressed.
Sorry. Okay.
Classes.
Okay. Classes. You can, my website is jttacticalinc.com. My amazing wife just redid my website because I am computer illiterate. She redid my website. So it actually, makes sense now. It's funny because I could like watch people as they're on my site and I could see what pages they're navigating to. They'll get to a certain point and just leave, and I'm like,
Boop. Drop off. Yep. Bloop.
And it's like, oh, all right, well, something's not right. I'm not doing something right, and apparently I'm an idiot and I don't know how to make a website.
Not an idiot. It's very hard. It's very hard.
Not easy.
No.
Yeah. So she redid it for me. So now it all kind of makes sense. And I'm easily reachable through Instagram, or if you can email me through the website as well. My phone number, my business phone number is on the website as well. Not my personal phone number. No.
I can give that out now.
Dear God, no. No, I believe my business number is on the website.
Reachable.
But I'm totally reachable. Yeah. And I don't bite,
Nope.
Awesome. So,
well, Justin, thank you. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this.
Absolutely. All right, guys, stay tuned to next week's episode of the Reticle Up Podcast. But seriously, reach out to Justin in all of this. I'll just say this and leave y'all with this listening, is that firearms world is very accessible and there's some really great people. And I mean this, Justin's been a rock. He's been awesome to work with. I've gotten to work with him with some clients. And I want to leave people with this, is that if you DM people, if you comment on their stuff, if you follow them, that is the whole reason. Like, Justin and I have not met in person yet, and here we are doing a podcast. How crazy is that?
It's pretty wild.
But it's normal. It's like, that's our industry, is like, we're willing to help with each other, talk to each other, and share ideas. I mean, I'm sure Justin and I don't agree on everything eye to eye, and that's okay. Like, we grow by that. We learn by that.
We probably agree on more than you realize.
Probably. But I mean, I don't want to say we're closed-minded either, but I'm saying like we have a lot in common, share a lot of values. But reach out to your people that you follow on social media, and they will reply. The good ones will.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week.
Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.